Who wants Pinky P in the big 2025? That's an excellent question. The answer is probably nobody. Unless you take that contract as a consolation prize or a consolation burden along with the number 3 pick in the draft. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Run It Back Philly Lunchtime Live. My name is DJ Eastwood. We're going to talk about some things. Oklahoma City Thunder won. The Denver Nuggets got stomped in Game 7. Embarrassing loss for them. The NBA draft is on June 25th. It is only May 19th. And we have more trade rumors. And yeah, strap in. It's trade rumor season. Probably now until the draft happens, we are going to have trade rumors. And here's the funny thing about the whole thing, right? You can, and I get annoyed by it, but me reacting to it is basically doing the same thing. So I have to appreciate the fact that the internet gives me content. But basically, if somebody in a random article says their opinion, it then gets posted on Twitter. It then gets posted from that post onto more Twitter pages, and it makes its way all the way to NBA Central. And then every Instagram page is posting it, and really all of the rumors, and it ends up being posted 100,000 times and isn't even the actual report. So what I always do when I see something is I go and try to find the actual report, right? So that's what we're going to do, because you can't just look at a one-paragraph post from an NBA Central on Twitter and run with it. But that's what people do. People hit me up all the time. You know, they send me a rumor and they say, I can't believe Daryl Morey is trading the pick. Bruh, where did he say that? Where'd you get this article from? You know, where you gotta go at least find the source and find out what was actually said. But that is why I am here. I will do that for you. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button for me one time. 150 people in here. Give me 150 likes. That would be greatly appreciated. I read every single super chat on the screen on the show. Thank you for the support. You can also donate on Cash App. QR code is on the screen, or cash.app/EastwoodDJ. Thank you for the support. There's also a Paul George podcast episode coming out today with Gilly and Wallow of $1 Million Worth of Game, where apparently they call him out to his face about his terrible effort and performance last season. And we're gonna, it's going live on YouTube at 1 o'clock. That podcast episode in its entirety is on Apple Podcasts. It's an hour and 17 minutes long. There's no like shorter clips or anything posted of it yet. Probably when they post it on YouTube, they'll start to post the clips on Instagram and Twitter and everything. I think the better way to do it is for me to react to the clips, because I don't want to sit here and listen to an hour and 20-minute Paul George conversation, because I will fall asleep even with the help of a Celsius. And then there's an Ace Bailey interview that happened on ESPN yesterday during the NBA Draft Combine day number 4 or 5 that we'll probably talk about also. So yeah, that's everything we're going to talk about. Thanks for being here. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Jarrett Newsom, what's going on, my man? Member of the channel. Haven't seen Jarrett for a minute. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get to any calls though, man, because I think this show's going to be like 2 hours long. Let's talk more ball. About Paul George on the podcast. Yep, Papa Grass, member of the channel. What's up? Did Rutgers coach keep his job with 2 to 5 recruits and they didn't make the tournament? I have no idea. I don't know if you could blame the coach for that. I mean, it is kind of crazy to have Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper on the same college basketball team, and you're not even like playing the top teams in the country every night, and they didn't even make the tournament. That is pretty crazy, but at the same time, how did they get those two players? You know, was it straight up NIL money? So did they basically pay a lot of money for two of the top 5 recruits and then did a terrible job filling out the rest of the roster? I don't know. I would have had to probably watch Rutgers games to know that. Firas, what's up? It's been 6 weeks since Embiid's surgery, according to Shams. Are you expecting any meaningful updates? No. If we know anything about the 76ers and the way that they do things, they will not give us an update. And we'll probably go all the way to the start of the season, and then they'll be like, oh, yeah, Joel Embiid is, he's on track. His rehab is going well. He's expected to make a full recovery by 2049. That's probably what's going to happen with that. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes. Shout out Lord Brunson. All right, first of all, Denver Nuggets lose in Game 7. Yes, I picked the Denver Nuggets to make it to the NBA Finals. That did not happen. Their worst nightmare came true, which was Michael Porter Jr. being Tobias Harris, which he is. He'll give you 28 points one game, and he'll give you 3 to 6 the next. Aaron Gordon had the hamstring strain. That affected them. Of course, Aaron Gordon couldn't run. It's crazy that he even played in the game. Shout out to that. You know, they got a guy with a grade 2 hamstring strain who can't run and is out there playing 25 minutes and giving it his all, while the 76ers have players missing 2 months with a sore pinky on a max contract. Jamal Murray shit the bed. Also, the Nuggets really would have needed a miraculous run from Jamal Murray to win this series and then to win the Western Conference Finals. They would have needed Jamal Murray to be superstar Jamal Murray. Inconsistent, man. That's the thing about the Nuggets, man. You could have bet on them, but they have guys that can play like stars, right? But they don't play with the consistency of a star. And honestly, Nikola Jokic was getting his ass kicked in this game. The Oklahoma City Thunder basically had him in straps by Alex Caruso, was being very physical with him. Our boy Swipe Cam the whole time on Twitter was letting us know that Jokic is getting fouled every play and they're not calling it. But the thing about Nikola Jokic is he wasn't fighting back. He was flopping. You know, he folded, bro. That's what happened. The Oklahoma City Thunder played him physical. They pushed him around. They grabbed him. They slapped him. The refs were letting it happen, but Nikola Jokic didn't fight back. He folded. He folded. He flopped. He threw himself on the floor. He threw his arms up. He yelled at the refs. Oklahoma City dominated this game defensively, and I mean, look at the total number of steals, actually. It was 8 steals in the first... In the 22 turnovers for Denver, it was 8 steals in the first half. 16 steals. 16 steals. How many turnovers did Nikola Jokic have, man? 5 turnovers. Felt like 50. But yeah, that's what the Oklahoma City Thunder did, man. They dominated Denver defensively. They frustrated Nikola Jokic. Everybody else sucked. Nikola Jokic didn't fight back. He flopped and yelled at the refs the whole game. And OKC moves on to the Western Conference Finals. I am taking the Minnesota Timberwolves. Partly because I still feel like, and shout out to OKC for pulling this off, I thought their inexperience was going to come back to bite them in this series. It didn't. They won the series. Shout out to OKC for that. I'm going Minnesota because of a couple of players. I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. But if you're going to say both teams are physical, both teams play tough defense, then you got to go star versus star, right? And SGA is a great point guard, but I'm going Anthony Edwards. That's what I'm doing in this series, man. What you guys think, bro? Love from the UK. Shout out to the UK, man. What's up, everybody? Philly forever. I'm taking UK. Murray is a $200 million player. Yikes. Play like stars, but only have one star, and he can't do it alone. But this is what I said about Joel Embiid all those years. You know, this exact game, what happened to Nikola Jokic in this game, happened to Joel Embiid basically every playoff run of his career. And he gets slandered as he can't step up, he can't get it done, he can't be a number one on a championship team when the team around him completely collapses and folds. But Nikola Jokic does it, and it's, he's only one star, he can't do it alone. It's a team game. As soon as you saw Scott Foster, you knew that game last night was over, that it's going to be a blowout. If the refs keep allowing OKC to continue playing like this, they're going to be the champion. You got to fight back. It's a two-way street. If they're allowing physicality, you got to fight back. You got a 7-foot, 290-pound guy throwing himself on the floor. That's not how you fight back. But anyway, yeah, I'm taking Minnesota. What we got tonight, man? What we got tonight? Monday. Oh, no game tonight? Damn. See, this is when the playoffs start to suck, dude. What am I supposed to do on a Monday night with no playoff game? OKC, Minnesota on Tuesday. Where's the East? The Knicks and Pacers get a week off? Knicks and Pacers game 1 on Wednesday. All right, anyway, let's get down to why you came here, man. So, again, the report makes it all the way to NBA Central. The Sixers could target Kevin Durant or Lauri Markkanen with a package that includes Paul George and a number 3 pick per Jeremy Woo and Draft Express. Who the hell is Jeremy Woo? NBA draft analyst and writer for ESPN. Draft Express, Jonathan Gavani, NBA draft analyst, ESPN. So it's not like this is me making up a rumor, right? It's not like this is some random YouTuber that has no connections to anybody making up a rumor. These are guys that work for ESPN that are at the NBA Draft Combine that are around NBA GMs and team executives, etc., and they hear things. So this is most likely dudes with credibility that have heard things and are giving you their expectations. Some teams expect the Sixers to be active in trade conversations with names such as Kevin Durant and Lauri Markkanen as potential targets in packages that could include Paul George and the number 3 pick. Chances of it happening. Honestly, shout out Nick Marchetti. Nick, I don't know if you're in here, but he responded to me on Twitter because I was like, Daryl Morey didn't say this. And he was like, yeah, but the more rumors I continue to see, the more nervous I get because Daryl Morey has to win now to save his job. And Daryl Morey probably is going to try to win now to save his job. And if he thinks Joel Embiid's going to be healthy this upcoming season, which he said he expects him to be healthy, I don't know if that means Daryl Morey actually believes Joel Embiid will be healthy this season, right? But if Daryl Morey actually believes Joel Embiid will be healthy this season, then he believes the 76ers are a title contender. He's not just blowing smoke up everyone's ass with the whole like, oh, I know you got to squint to see it, you know, but the Cleveland Cavaliers should be fearful. If Daryl Morey actually believes Joel Embiid is going to be healthy, then he believes the Sixers are a title contender. But he's the one that signed Paul George. So why then would he be interested in trading Paul George? I don't think Daryl Morey is interested in trading Paul George unless ownership is like, the fans hate this guy. This dude's a bum. He relaunched his podcast. Everybody hates him. He's 35. Try to get rid of him. If he's getting pressure from somebody else to get rid of Paul George, then I could see him trying to do something like this. So with Kevin Durant, it fits the timeline of the Joel Embiid situation. Clearly, Kevin Durant's 37, doesn't have many years left, still remained relatively healthy the past couple of years, still plays at a very high level. And yet, if Joel Embiid is healthy, You got Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Quentin Grimes if they work a re-sign. You got the young guys, Justin Edwards, Dembona, on and on and on. If you add Kevin Durant to that and everybody's healthy, yeah, you're a contender. And if Daryl Morey actually thinks that's possible, he might pull the trigger. That's the dangerous part about it, because the Phoenix Suns are interested in trading Kevin Durant. And you're not going to find anybody that wants the Paul George contract unless it gets them out of a situation they don't want to be in. And the Phoenix Suns have no draft picks until 2032. So the Phoenix Suns this offseason are most likely going to trade Kevin Durant to try to get a high draft pick because they have no future. It makes me nervous because it kind of makes sense for both teams. The Suns get out of purgatory of having the worst payroll in the NBA and not having any draft picks at all until the year 3000. They go and they get Ace Bailey. Then they take on the Paul George contract, and the only way you're going to get a team to take on a Paul George contract is probably a team that doesn't expect to be good for the next couple of years anyway. So that's why it makes me nervous, because it kind of makes sense for both teams. If it wasn't Daryl Morey, I would be less nervous about it. But you add in the fact that it's Daryl Morey, who has never been in a rebuild, has never intentionally tanked, is always trying to swing the pendulum, is always trying to pull a fast one to get back into contention. And at the same time, he's interested in proving to everyone that this is going to work to save his own job. Makes me nervous. Sixers ownership has to be involved here. And I know people like to say Josh Harris doesn't give a shit about the Sixers and ownership isn't involved and on and on and on. Sixers ownership needs to be involved here because they want to open a new arena in 2030. You cannot let this maniac Daryl Morey ruin the future of this team by trying to save his own ass. And if you let Daryl Morey trade this pick and Joel Embiid's not healthy again, or they are relatively healthy and they still don't win anything in the next 2 years, and Kevin Durant retires and Joel Embiid retires and Paul George, well, I guess he'd be on the Suns in this scenario, but and then a player like Ace Bailey becomes a star and you open a new arena in 2030 and the fans have no reason to believe this team can win. I just don't. I think the owners should be in the interest of I think Daryl Morey's in the interest of right now. The owners with the new arena opening in 2030, we have to hope, are interested in fans being excited for the team 5 years from now. And if your interest is in fans being excited for the team 5 years from now, you don't trade that draft pick. So the owners need to make it clear to Daryl Morey, hey, we're not interested in you keeping your job. If your plan is to trade that draft pick, we're going to fire you before you get to do it. Because you're not giving up a future possible star to try to win now with these players who last year didn't show us anything that should make us believe that's possible. That's where I'm at. Casey Allison, thank you for the super chat. We need to focus on Tyrese Maxey and commit to him. Well, he signed a super max contract, or he signed a max contract extension. So I mean, they did commit to him. If you're are you saying this upcoming season, the Sixers need to make Tyrese Maxey the number one scoring option, or they need to build the team around Tyrese Maxey? I mean, I agree with that, but you got guys, you got Joel Embiid and Paul George signed until 2028 and 2029. So what does this entail? Does focusing on Tyrese Maxey and committing to him, are you saying you need to trade Paul George and Joel Embiid somehow? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. RJ, what up, man? If Morey gets KD instead of an 18-year-old, I'll be real life sick. Rather see Bona at the 4. Nah, he can't shoot. I don't think in today's NBA you can have a power forward that can't shoot, man. Are you talking about Bona and Embiid playing together? Nick Nurse said last season that, you know, he might attempt that, and then he never did it. I think he did attempt it in like one game for 5 minutes, and it was terrible. I don't think that's ever going to work. I don't think you can play a non-shooter with Joel Embiid on the floor, because Joel Embiid commands probably more space in the paint than anyone I've seen since Shaquille O'Neal in the early 2000s. You know, that's why the whole Al Horford thing was a disaster. That's why the Ben Simmons thing was a disaster. That's why even Tobias Harris didn't really make sense for Joel Embiid, because that dude shoots like 2 threes a game. You need shooters around Joel, man. You need shooters around Joel. PG, 3rd pick for Lauri, and the 5th pick. Would the Jazz do it? I think that's the one that I was going to bring up next. Anyway, I went on a little bit of a tangent. Shout out to everybody in here, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being involved. Thank you for the support. Here's where this report came from. It's not even really a report, dude. It's ESPN mock draft projecting all 59 picks. It's not really a report. It's just that right down on number 3 where they talk about the 76ers, Ace Bailey Rutgers, that's who they're projecting the 76ers pick. He says this in one paragraph. This is it. This is the whole report. It's in a mock draft. He randomly says, some teams expect the Sixers to be active in trade conversations with names such as Kevin Durant and Lauri Markkanen as potential targets in packages that could include Paul George and the number 3 pick. Sixers president of basketball operations has made a career of being active and aggressive on the trade front, but historically, it's rare to see a top 3 pick traded. I still don't see it. I don't see it. Even Daryl Morey, I don't see it. And Daryl Morey has done some shocking things with the, refusing to trade Ben Simmons for Tyrese Halliburton and being obsessed with James Harden past his prime and then signing Paul George to a max contract. He's done some things, releasing Isaiah Joe for nothing. He's done some things, and he's done well at drafting, finding Tyrese Maxey at 21, finding Jared McCain at 16, making the trade for Quentin Grimes. But again, he made the trade for Quentin Grimes and Jared Butler because he thought Joel Embiid was going to come back and we were going to make a push in the playoffs. Either way, Daryl Morey's done some things. But even I don't see him trading this pick to take on an older player in Kevin Durant. If we're talking about Lauri Markkanen, it's a totally different conversation. First thing I want to say about Lauri Markkanen is insanely overrated. Out of this world overrated is Lauri Markkanen. Guys, on a terrible Utah Jazz team last year, Lauri Markkanen averaged 17 points per game. Why every year is Lauri Markkanen talked about as some kind of superstar? Why? Why every year is Lauri Markkanen discussed like he's some type of superstar? He's been in the league now for how long? How old is Lauri Markkanen? He's 27. He averaged 17 points per game last season. Lauri Markkanen is a very good role player. This is giving me Mikal Bridges out of Brooklyn vibes, where a team drives up the price for such an annoyingly long time, and somebody finally bites and gives them 5 first-round draft picks for a guy that is not even a number 1 scoring option on a team. I just do not understand the Lauri Markkanen hype. He would be a great he'd be a better third option than Paul George. Don't get me wrong. And he's only 27. I think I'm out on the Kevin Durant situation. If the 76ers Oh, shit. Lauri Markkanen's a tough one, man. It's got me confused, man. Because if, and that's the fake trade that I brought up here. I went and found a Lauri Markkanen trade, and I think that's what we're saying here. Well, this one's saying Lauri Markkanen and the 21st pick. You're getting off the Paul George contract. Oh, let me show you. You're getting off the Paul George contract. You're giving up the number 3 pick. You're getting 27-year-old Lauri Markkanen, who, pair him with Embiid, Maxey, McCain. If Embiid's healthy, that's a championship contender, right? Everybody seems to forget when Joel Embiid is healthy, the 76ers are a contender no matter what. This guy went 12-5 in the month of January, his rookie season, with a team full of Luke Ba-a-Moute and TJ McConnell and Robert Covington. Healthy Joel Embiid is a game changer completely. And then you got Maxey, McCain, Grimes, and you add Lauri Markkanen. Yeah, I think that makes you a championship contender. And Lauri Markkanen's 27, so he fits a little bit more of the timeline of Maxey and McCain, and you got 5-6 years to try to win with that core. I actually don't hate that. I don't hate that. I don't want to give up the number 3 pick because I love the upside of Ace Bailey. But if you get Paul George the hell out of here, you get Lauri Markkanen, you're moving back to 21 in this scenario. Elliot on the super chat says 5th pick. I don't think the Jazz are giving up number 5 and Lauri Markkanen just to move up to 3, because basically all of the mock drafts, we kind of know who's at number 4 and 5. VJ Edgecombe and Trey Johnson from Texas. And one's an athletic player who needs a lot of development offensively, and one is a very good shooter who's undersized for today's NBA. 6'4", $180. So those are both development players. I don't know, man. I think I would say yes to Lauri in the 5th pick for Paul George in the 3rd pick. I think I would say yes to that. Because you're only moving back 2 spots. You don't get Ace, but you get another project player in VJ or Trey Johnson. And you get Lauri Markkanen and you get off the Paul George contract. I don't know why the Jazz, I think this is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why the Jazz would be that interested in moving up 2 spots. They're not interested in Paul George at all. Nobody is. The number 3 pick, I don't think it's, if it was the number 2 pick, we'd be talking, the Jazz would probably be. I don't think Ace Bailey himself is sought after enough for them to be interested in trading Lauri Markkanen for it. I definitely don't think there's enough of a difference from number 3 to number 5 for the Jazz to want to give up Lauri Markkanen and the 5 pick. That's what I think. But I think as the Sixers, I think I would do it, man. I think I would do it because I don't want to watch Paul George play. I don't want to hear his stupid podcast anymore. And you add Lauri Markkanen to the mix. But I think Lauri Markkanen is going to go for a lot more than that, which I don't think he should because I think he's overrated. I think that's my final assessment of that fake trade idea. And what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. If Oubre, Drummond, and Gordon opt out, we need to make a play for Santi Aldama. He's the perfect fit next to Embiid. Well, Oubre, Drummond, and Gordon are not going to opt out. There's no reason for them to opt out. Why would they opt out? They have player options that are offered, that they have guaranteed money. Andre Drummond has a $5 million guaranteed player option. Andre Drummond, as terrible as he was last season, he ended up being the 3rd string center behind a Dembona. He was that bad. Nobody's paying Andre Drummond $5 million next year. All three of those guys, Oubre, Drummond, and Gordon, have player options that are worth more than any other team's going to offer them, and they know that, and their agents know that, and they're opting in. The only hope for the 76ers in that situation is to sign and trade all three of those guys. And I love me some Kelly Oubre, but you can find a Kelly Oubre. I don't think Kelly Oubre does anything well enough for him to be untouchable. I know there's Sixers fans that love him so much. They're like, don't trade Kelly. He's the only guy that plays every game and gives 100%. I agree. But I don't think his skill set is something to write. You know, it's not like you can't find another Kelly Oubre. You can. Probably in the second round of a draft. Honestly, I think Ricky Council is Kelly Oubre, if we're being honest, for cheaper. That's what I think about that. But yeah, I mean, they're not going to opt out. So that's not going to happen. If they sign and trade him, and then they you know, maybe they go after Santi Aldama. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, if Joel Embiid's healthy and you add Santi Aldama, yeah, again, contender. I guess we're going to be here all off season saying if Joel Embiid is healthy. I was going to react to the Paul George Gilly podcast that was dropped this morning, but it's an hour and 17 minutes. I don't want to do that, but I am going to go to the one clip that they posted that's promoting this podcast episode, and I want to say a few things about it, I think. And then there's an Ace Bailey interview. What am I doing? I typed Twitter into Twitter. Come on, get it together, man. What was in this Celsius? It's not helping me focus. It's supposed to help me focus. Yeah, I don't... Here's the clip, if you haven't seen it, of the Paul George podcast where he had Gilly and Wallow on. Now, for those who don't know, Gilly the Kid is a old school hip hop artist from the streets of Philadelphia. Back in the early Meek Mill days, he was coming up on the Smack DVDs and all that type of stuff, and he was well respected in Philly for a long time. And he's Philly. Gilly is Philly through and through, you know. And he keeps it 100 day in and day out. And that's why people love his podcast, $1 Million Worth of Game. And Paul George relaunches his podcast, and he brings on Gilly and Wallow. And Gilly basically told him straight to his face, you didn't do enough last season. Let's listen to this clip, and then I want to talk about it. Here it is.
I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I gave you a pass. This year, you gotta go stupid, bro.
100%. I didn't hold up to my bargain.
Philadelphia, we like to see.
God, I don't know if I can do this, man. I don't know if I can do this with this guy, man. Paul George doesn't have this pedigree, man. He doesn't have this pedigree. Is Gilly calling him out gonna bring this pedigree out of Paul George? He's 35, bro. All right, let's listen.
I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I gave you a pass. This year, you gotta go stupid, bro.
100%. I didn't hold up to my bargain.
Philadelphia, we like to see effort. Allen Iverson didn't win. He will always be the GOAT around this because he put in 100% effort. He left everything on the floor.
Philly fans is brutal, and I'm gonna give you the ingredients to how you deal with it.
Hey, listen, it's a good promotion for a podcast episode because as much as I talk about how I don't want to listen to Podcast P, it made me want to listen to the podcast episodes. So they did their job. The marketing team did their job. I want to say that when I first heard it, I was going to say respect to Paul George for putting himself out there like this. But then I thought about it all day yesterday and this morning, yes, because I'm an absolute psychopath. But I was thinking about it again this morning, and I was like, no, you know what, man? Somebody gave Paul George some advice, and I don't think it's a great idea. Somebody gave Paul George some advice, and I don't think it's a great idea. Because here's what happened. Last season, You're doing a live podcast while you're sitting out games for the 76ers. You're, in your own words, not living up to your end of the bargain. You're being a total bum for $50 million. You know, the fans are booing you in the arena, and you're going on your podcast the next day talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder or something else. And the last YouTube clip posted by Podcast P had over 3,000 dislikes, and they stopped the podcast. They said, okay, I'm taking a back seat. He said it's to chase a championship. Philly fans were like, what is this guy talking about? Does he live in the same world that we live in? Anyway, then he comes out again and says, I stopped the podcast to focus on my mental. I wasn't right mentally or something else. That gives me Ben Simmons vibes. But anyway, they stopped the podcast. I personally think it's because Philly fans were destroying it on YouTube with the dislikes because they hate Paul George, okay? So he stops the podcast. Somebody said to him, hey, man, the only way for you to bring back the podcast is for you to keep it 100% with Philly fans and, you know, own up to what happened last season. And then somebody said, why don't we get Gilly and Wallow on the show to tell them from a Philly fan perspective what they think? And so somebody had this idea that the only way to get this podcast back and to stop Philly fans from giving it 10,000 dislikes per episode is to win the hearts of Philly fans. But bro, it's going to happen again. This is what I'm saying. You can't win the hearts of Philly fans just by saying words on a podcast. You have to actually do it. And we saw last year, Paul George is not the kind of guy that's going to give that extra 10%. He's not that kind of guy. He's going to give you just enough. But when shit goes south, he's not the kind of guy. He's not going to be out there with a sore pinky and a sore groin diving on the floor. He's going to be sitting in his house. Oh, he's going to be reevaluated too. He's not that kind of guy. So what you're doing with this is you're setting yourself up for even more torture and pain because you're going to spend the whole offseason now apologizing to 76ers fans. I didn't hold up my end of the bargain.
I'm going to keep it all the way real. I gave you a pass. This year, you got to go stupid, bro.
100%. I didn't hold up to my bargain.
You're going to spend the whole offseason basically apologizing to Sixers fans. And then you're going to come out this upcoming season, and you're not going to play harder. And you're not going to... Gilly's talking about Allen Iverson. They're not even in the same stratosphere of effort. It's just not going to happen. And then Philly fans are going to hate you even more than if you just, I don't know, shut the fuck up for a couple of months and come out next season and be Paul George. This is a very bad idea. And it's going to be very entertaining. It's going to be very entertaining. Now, speaking of Paul George, one more thing on Paul George, man, because I don't know if this was clipped from this podcast. I don't really know where this came from, but I posted it. Somebody sent it to me, and I posted it. Paul George explains why it's taxing to play 82 regular season games. And Paul George says... What am I doing here? Paul George says, it gets to the point, how do I get through this one? This guy is talking like playing 30 minutes of basketball for 3 nights a week is he's talking about it like it's a working a double in a warehouse. You know, bro, how am I going to get through this one? Are you kidding me? Why don't you just retire? That's what I don't understand. If at 35 years old, basketball for you is so difficult to play that you're dreading playing the game, you're looking at the upcoming game and you're saying, how am I going to get through this one? Fucking-tire, please. You're done. You clearly don't like playing anymore. Oh my God, dude. Disgusting. But let's move on to things that are fun to talk about. And it's an Ace Bailey interview on ESPN after the oh damn, where is it, man? I didn't even bring it up. Hold on, let me find it real quick. It's an Ace Bailey interview on ESPN during the NBA Draft Combine the other day. Where the hell is it? Maybe it was on Twitter. Producer, you're fired, man. You were supposed to have this thing ready for me to talk about, man. Ace Bailey, ESPN. Where's this interview at, man? Y'all got it? Anybody want to be my producer? Ace Bailey interview, ESPN. Ace Bailey joined the NBA Combine broadcast to talk about... Yeah, see, I found it. I found it. I win. Yeah, this was posted yesterday. See? I'm an insider, bro. I got stuff that y'all don't even have. I'm an insider, man. Let's listen to the Ace Bailey interview.
Back to that, we come back because I think that's the interesting thing. Who are you listening to? Do you listen to someone telling you what you want to hear or not?
Well, you know what? One guy who...
Why they gotta play music, man? Trying to get me shut down. Here he is.
Hooper. And the first time we met, Jason Tatum camp, I believe, in St. Louis.
Sure, yeah.
You come up, you got the big smile, you put your arm around people, you're showing off your personality.
Sure.
But once you get on the court, all that changes,
yeah,
right?
It's over with. It's just a switch that's flipped. In between the lines, we ain't no more friends right now. It's time to ball.
And you talk about being friends. You're close with, of course, Dylan, but you're also close with Cooper Flagg, with so many different guys that have come through this program, Hoop Summit teammates, etc. When you see those guys here, you guys had a great time yesterday, but how much do you look forward to competing against those guys?
It's going to be great to compete with each other. Great talent between all of us. I mean, just we all put the hard work in. I mean, we grind just for this moment right here. So seeing each other at the next level, let us know we're working hard and can compete. It's going to be fun.
Well, these guys up here have some questions for you. So, but I got to make sure to remind everyone, this is the newest member of the Nike family. So you guys go ahead. I'm sure y'all got some great questions for my guy.
I got the
He signed with Nike already? Man, kid's about to make some money.
best question, I think, is we just watched you down those barbecue chips. If you had to rate your favorite chips,
What the fuck?
what would be the flavors? Is barbecue number one? Give me your top three flavors
Y'all really on TV doing this shit?
of chips that you like to eat.
I like barbecue. Barbecue chips, they decent. I like them. They smooth. I like the little hot Cheetos, too. Don't tell nobody. That's a little cheap snack. I like those. And also, I like the
These motherfuckers were like, hey, we got Ace Bailey on the show, man. What should we ask him? Oh, let's ask him about the barbecue chips, man.
pretzel bites. They smooth. I like those.
He's got variety. There's no doubt about it. Now, look, we're going to ask you a really tough question here. Because Corey Alexander, he has a very, very set definition of comps. You know, like who do you compare yourself to? So he has rules. We're throwing those rules out the door. All right? Forget about Corey's rules. If you had to pick out a player that you feel like you play like, who is your comp to you?
Kevin Durant for sure. That's the most one I say. But I got a few other ones too, like Paul George and Jason Tatum.
That's pretty good company right there. Ace,
I want to know what Corey, I mean, like he broke the rule. He didn't say anything to Ace. So
yeah, Corey, what do you think about those comps?
It is legal for Ace to have the comps to those players. It is illegal for you all to compare
Yeah, see, that's how they do it on Twitter. You're not allowed to say Kevin Durant.
Ace to those players.
Rules are so complicated. Okay, I'm trying to follow along here.
Kevin Durant, Paul George, Jason Tatum. Hey, man, if Ace Bailey even becomes, I mean, obviously, if he becomes Jason Tatum, that's great. If Ace Bailey even becomes Pacers Paul George, that's amazing. You know?
Hey, Ace, mom played at West Virginia. Dad played at Houston.
If he even becomes like pre-injury Michael Porter Jr.,
And you're on Venus.
that's a win. Because the 76ers weren't supposed to have this pick in the first place. Don't forget that.
Won a gold medal at the 96 Olympics. Who's the best baller in the Bailey family?
Of course, my auntie. She went to fathers with it, so I guess she the best one.
Ace, I asked this to Dylan Harper yesterday when we had him on set. Certainly an up and down year at Rutgers this year. What did you learn about yourself going through some adversity this year?
I keep going. Next game, I feel like once you win or lose the first game, you got to go to the next game because the next level is 82 games, and you might not be in the same city as the game, so you might got to get on a plane to fly to the next city. So I learned.
Well, they're killing me with the music and the highlights, man.
Asking you to be limited for on TV, Ace. We don't have 20 minutes.
Hey, don't listen to him.
Limited for on TV, Ace. We don't have.
How infectious Scotty Barnes' talking only personality standpoint. This young man, from the day I met him, reminds me of Scotty Barnes, and you know.
I do want to say this, man. Why do we always have to name other NBA players when talking to NBA draft prospects? Why does he have to remind you of Kevin Durant or Paul George or Jason Tatum? Now we're saying his personality reminds us of Scotty Barnes. Why? Why can't we just say Ace Bailey is a 6'9", 210-pound, 18-year-old who can shoot the rock, and we think his ceiling is out of this world? He reminds you of Scotty Barnes?
Know how infectious Scotty Barnes' personality is. Everyone loves being teammates with guys like this. Ace Bailey's going to be great at this level. That's right, Sean. I said great. I know we talked about that word.
I mean, come on,
I think he has absolutely a chance to be great at this level.
So we had a debate, Corey and I.
Hey, the hype is there, man. If it's just ESPN's job to drive up interest of the NBA draft, they're doing a great job.
A little bit earlier about the word great and how we use great.
Overused.
Overused.
This dude is a bucket. I'm telling you, this dude is a bucket. He can shoot. He can score from anywhere against anyone. He creates separation.
Hey, by the way, that's why Corey loves him so much. Corey likes to get buckets. Ace gets buckets, and he's like, dude, just shoot the ball. That's all you got to do, kid.
Corey never saw a shot he didn't like.
Because they all love me. And Ace is the same way. You know, you never dislike a shot that loves you. We love all the shots. And he's a tough shot maker.
I love it, man. And I think my favorite thing that Ace said was at the beginning of this interview where he said, you know, we're all friends, but when we get on the floor, we're not friends anymore. I think the NBA needs that, man. They need guys to start thinking like that again, you know? I watched LeBron James' whole career, but if I had to say something negative about LeBron James, it's that he's too buddy-buddy with everybody, you know? The Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, everybody's best friends, you know? LeBron James will be losing a game by 40 points and be laughing and smiling with the players on the other team because they're all just friends. It's like a big fraternity. I think the NBA needs to get back to stuff like this where when the game starts, we're not friends, man.
No, we're standing out here. He wants to look and see what's going on in the court. This dude is a true hooper. And the first time we met, Jason Tatum camp, I believe, in St. Louis.
Sure, yeah.
You come up, you got the big smile. You put your arm around people. You're showing off your personality.
Sure.
But once you get on the court, all that changes,
Yeah,
right?
it's over with. It's just a switch that's flipping between the lines. We ain't no more friends right now. It's time to ball.
I heard enough. Don't trade the pick for anything. Draft Ace Bailey. I don't care what anybody says. Man. That's all I got. Now, the clips of this Paul George interview with Gilly and Wallow is going to come out. The whole podcast is coming up on YouTube at 1 o'clock on Podcast P's YouTube show. So I will be interested to see how that is received by Philly fans. I will be monitoring the comments and counting the amount of likes or dislikes And then I'm sure there will be clips of the things that maybe I'll probably listen to the whole thing myself because Gilly and Wallow are fun to listen to anyway. And then I'll probably take my favorite parts out of it. And if there's anything interesting or crazy to talk about, I think I'll talk about it tomorrow on the show. Same time, 12 o'clock, right here. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the support. Give me all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Have yourselves a wonderful day.